Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. In a day of fast-moving developments in the United States, there was supposed to have been a secret meeting at Camp David between Taliban, the Afghan government, and Donald Trump, which got called off at the very last minute. In fact, this was kept completely secret. No one in the United States, except for the small circle of people, knew that this was even going to be attempted. So when the thing broke off and Trump tweeted about it, it came as a complete surprise. Now, the reason Trump gave was that he said that even the day before this was supposed to happen, 11 people were killed, and one Taliban claimed responsibility for this. And he said, I cannot deal with someone who thinks that they can get better leverage by killing one of my own soldiers. So it was a very good statement on part of Trump. And the fact that now they have walked away, what does it mean for Afghanistan? What lies in its future? To know a little bit more about it, I'm joined by Aditya Satsangi, who has been watching these developments closely. Aditya, welcome to PGurus channel.
Thank you. Thank you, Chiji.
So what do you make of what happened?
No, this was very expected. You cannot trust them because Afghanistan as a country, it's a very divided country internally. There is a huge influence of Iranian in the north side. There is a huge influence of Pakistan in the border states on the Durand line, and there is a huge influence of Central Asian states. And American administration blundered here because the State Department doesn't understand Afghanistan. Now, Afghanistan thinks through their faith. They don't think through their country. And there are videos which are surfacing everywhere where Taliban is now freely moving across the towns and villages of Afghanistan and forcing people to take up arms against the Afghan National Army. And this is at gunpoint. So there is a small section, maximum 100,000 men together, and which are led by 20 to 30 jirga based in the northeast of Afghanistan. That's where they get their faith-based sermons to destroy this deal. And the State Department should have heeded to the New Delhi's advice, and I think New Delhi had very clearly told the State Department that there is no military solution in Afghanistan. Afghanistan needs hospitals, they need schools, they need universities, and they need their people to be educated like any other nation. So that's the need of Afghanistan. So the security of Afghanistan cannot be left to Taliban. The decision of the State Department or the fascination of State Department on their advice of their CIA handlers in Pakistan was totally wrong, because the state of Pakistan itself is a problem in Afghanistan.
Well, we have seen some fast-moving developments in Pakistan too, as they seem to have gone off the rocker. I mean, they have gone and attacked the Indian consulate in London, and they also are planning some sort of marches in the line of control alongside India. And then this line of they kind of incited feelings. A lot of people turned up there. The thing got out of control. The Pakistani military allegedly had to open fire on its own civilians, and a few people have died. And so this sort of stuff that they are trying to do, brinksmanship, doesn't augur well for the region's stability, does it?
Yeah, that's true. And I'm glad you pointed that out, that Pakistani army is fighting its own citizens today. And because they, ever since Zia-ul Haq, the president who armed with the CIA, obviously, armed the Mujahid in Afghanistan, and they try to convert Pakistan into a state of religion. So it's a country occupied by a faith thought process. And the irony is that the people don't connect to that thought process any longer, because they have seen in last 70 years the two states which were carved out by British by force, actually 4 states, which is Burma, Afghanistan, India, and some other territories of India which were cut out. During Bangladesh is one area with 71. But usually British divide the whole region into three areas. So in 1979, ever since the Mujahid were sponsored by CIA into Afghanistan, that's where the complete faith takeover of Pakistan started. And if you look at the textbooks now of Pakistan, there is a complete hatred and misinformation about Hindus is taught. Their ministers have come on Twitter publicly asking for their own people and armies to kill Hindus. So it's very apparent now that the same thing they're going to repeat in Afghanistan. Now in Afghanistan, it's not that much faith-based society, because even though it's in the name of Islam, it's an Islamic Republic of Afghanistan, but still the villages and other communities in Afghanistan do not practice that faith internally. So they have been traditionally opposed to Taliban. So if you look at the Pakistani state and what their leaders are talking, it should give you an insight on why the Pakistani army is working against its own people, ISI and Pakistani army. So there was a very interesting episode 2 days back or 3 days back. So 9-year-old girl took a video from somewhere in Multan, and where she openly professed that they want to join India, and how their families have been very severely affected by the Pakistani army. And the recent acts of all the outrage of human rights violation and Muslim victimhood in Kashmir is all fall flat on the ground. Now you're not seeing any media reports coming out, because the world and the agencies, they verified and they found out that's not true. Most of the propaganda is misleading propaganda by Pakistani state. Afghanis know this fact about Pakistan better than anyone else, because Afghanis have been the Afghan national government has never been allowed to function independently by the non-state or the state. There is nothing like non-state in Pakistan now, because the Pakistani state is controlled by the Pakistani army and ISI, and they know the game plan of ISI is to keep Afghanistan weak and most of the portions controlled by the Taliban, because Taliban supplies them the drug money which helps Pakistanis run their government. So Pakistani government is running on the drug money coming out of Afghanistan. It's a well-known fact right now.
Well, those are sensational statements. Now, we know that there has been drug running. In fact, some of those drugs find their way into India too. And Punjab has been at the forefront of this, trying to control it. In fact, the Congress government there has taken several steps to try and combat this, but it's still not in control. I mean, once somebody is hooked on drugs, it's going to be very difficult to take them out of that. So Punjab is battling that problem as we speak now. Now, for the future, the Taliban talk has stalled now. India has a chance to try and insert itself into these negotiations. And this is like the third or fourth time that the opportunity is coming knocking on India's doors. What do you think India should be doing? I mean, they have been proved right, at least in the eyes of the United States, the White House. Their stock must have risen because they predicted exactly this.
So I think Dr. Subramanian Swamy has been very vocal about it. And I stand by Dr. Subramanian Swamy's suggestion on sending troops to Afghanistan. But before that, is just my suggestion, 2 cents suggestion, is that the India should again wait and watch until the POK is complete, acquisition is complete. The POK will give us India a direct negotiating power as a bordering state of Afghanistan, and that the State Department will definitely respect.
So if you look at the back of the map of Aditya, I'm going to open the view so we can see my mouse. You see, this is the Pak-occupied Kashmir, and then when India reclaims it, and this part is the what they call as Pak-occupied Kashmir area, and this is the Gilgit-Baltistan area. Now, if all this becomes India's, which is what it should be, then you see at this point there is a geographical connect with Afghanistan. Although this terrain may be fairly hostile, might be, it's all rugged, it's all hilly. The important point that Aditya is making is that then you have a geographic land connect, and perhaps this is the first objective, and the population there is willing. They have been tired of all the promises that were made by Pakistan, and in fact people say that part of this area has been sold off by Pakistan to China. I mean, it's a part of territory that it doesn't even own. So there are some interesting consequences what the Chinese are going to do. But the important point that Aditya is making is, first let India get back all this and then start actively getting involved in Afghanistan's affairs. So that's a fair point, Aditya. Although I must caution our viewers that getting the approaching Afghanistan by land through this is fairly difficult. You are better off trying to cut across right here. Anyway, I mean, I'm just giving you the simple way, because most of this land is plains. I mean, you can see the Peshawar area is right, or I'm just using my mouse. I don't know if you can see my mouse. This is where the hilly areas start, and all of this is mostly hills and peaks and valleys. Very, very difficult for quick movement and so on and so forth.
So one thing I must say, just add here, Shreyaji.
Yeah.
One thing I must say, the eastern part of Afghanistan, which is bordering Gilgit-Baltistan, that's where India will get. That is a Hindu majority area of Afghanistan, and that's known as Nuristan in Afghanistan, and that has always been a pro-Hindu area, including Gilgit-Baltistan. And therefore, those tribes have been so fierce against any kind of Islamic terrorism that not a single Islamic terrorist has been able to survive there, including Taliban. So Taliban's power is mostly in the southern provinces of Afghanistan, bordering Pakistan.
Right.
And they have not even been able to touch the western part of Afghanistan around Herat. So Herat's name in Mahabharata is Harivrat. So Harivrat is the area of Herat, which is a very deeply connected to Indian history. So I would like to say is that let's the POK get completed, and that is the main thing that India should focus on, and then State Department will invite India for it to be on the table of Afghanistan. They're going strictly by the current map of Afghanistan, and because they don't see India controlling that territory, that's why they're not inviting India.
That's very valuable information, and I hope that the powers that be in PMO's office and MEA, Ministry of External Affairs, are listening or watching this video. Thank you very much, Aditya, for sharing your thoughts on what's happening in Afghanistan vis-a-vis the Taliban.
Thank you. Namaskar.
Namaskar.